could be famous. Come and be famous.
Hello guys, and welcome back to Rigs Remote. Sorry about that, we haven't had a technical difficulty for a few weeks, so we were due one. Hopefully you can hear me now. Just let us know in the comments that we have got the sound working properly. So tonight, 6 PM class, we've got a mobility focused session for you. Specifically, we're going to look at a full body stretch routine. So without further ado, we'll get straight into a brief little warm up where we're going to spend 45 seconds per exercise with 15 seconds in between. I'll pop the timer on. I'm just going to give us a 10-second countdown until we get into some walkouts. So we're just going to spend 45 seconds walking those hands out, walking them back to the start, standing ourselves up and just getting some movement. So that's it, timer is on. 45 seconds of walkout. So feet nice and forward, facing underneath your hips, walk that body out into the top of a push-up position and then walk those hands back. As always, if you are joining, just let us know who's watching. It is always good to know who is watching. Perfect, so we've got 45 seconds of walkout. Want to be starting this warm-up at about a 4 out of 10 level of intensity. As we are looking at a full body stretching routine, we don't need to be getting too warm, too excited as if we were going to be doing sort of a high intensity circuit class. Nevertheless, it's good just to get a bit of blood flow through our muscles, get our heart rate up slightly, and just increase the elastic properties of the collagen in our muscle fibers. That's the end of the 45 seconds of walkout. For our second exercise, we're going to be doing some mountain climbing, so getting down into that push-up position, bringing those knees up to our chest, alternating left and right, keeping that nice straight line from ankle to shoulder, and we've got 45 seconds of these. Keeping that straight line, ankle to shoulder, screwing those hands into the floor, keeping those wrists below our shoulders, so in a nice, strong and stable position. Working our way through 45 seconds of the mountain climbers. "15 seconds more of these. Keep alternating those legs left and right and keep that nice strong position. 3, 2, 1, then we're going to stay in this push-up position and we're going to get into some Spider-Man. So push-up position again, we're going to bring our foot and ankle and knee outside of our elbow and rotate with that same side with our upper body. We want to drop those hips as we bring that foot forward, and we're just going to alternate left and right, rotating with that same side. This is for this third 45-second period of our brief little warm-up before we get into the stretch routine. So if we get that foot nice and high, our knee should follow it. Ideally, we want that foot to be outside of our hands. Again, bringing these feet back to that start position before stepping into it with the other side. We'll go another 10 seconds. So time to squeeze in another rep on your left and right leg. There we go, so we're now coming back up onto our feet. So we're going to finish this warm up off with a reverse lunge, bringing our arms up overhead. So we're going to start feet facing forward underneath our hips. We're going to step back into that reverse lunge position, and then we're just going to point those fingertips to the sky. Alternating left and right, we want to make sure that front shin is nice and vertical as we step back, looking for a 90-degree angle at that knee. Make sure those fingertips are nice and high, stepping back there, ball of the foot of the back foot, right through the heel of that front foot, and then we're just pushing off the heel of that front foot to step us back to the middle. Alternating left and right, another 15 seconds. Gradually just increasing the intensity of this little warm-up, so we're at about a sort of a 6 to 7 out of 10 now for this fourth and final exercise. A couple more seconds there. Right then, should be a little bit warmer than when we started. Grab yourself a quick drink and then we will get into this full body stretching routine in a minute or two. So welcome back guys, thanks for tuning in. Hello Frankie, hello Yaz, hello Sam. Thanks for letting us know you're here, letting us know you're watching. So without any further ado, we'll get into this full body stretch routine. So as normal, we're going to go 45 seconds per stretch with 15 seconds just to allow us to transition from one to the other. So I'll pop the timer on, which will give us a 10-second countdown, and then we'll get into this first stretch. So we're looking at a downward dog type position. So we want feet about hip width apart, nice and straight with the legs, triangle type shape with the body, and then we're just pushing that chest through to the floor. Get a nice global full body stretch to start this routine off with. Taking some nice deep breaths as we're doing this, pushing those heels to the floor, getting that stretch through the calf. Probably get a little stretch through the lats as well, challenging that shoulder stability in this position. Holding this stretch, taking some nice deep breaths for another 20 seconds or so. So as briefly mentioned before, the focus of tonight's routine is going to be on some stretching. So if you haven't already, check out the article I've released on the Rigs Fitness website, where we talk about the differences between stretching, between mobility, and basically 3 things you should be including in your full body mobility routine at home. So for this second one, we're going to come from that downward dog position into an upward dog position. So we're going to push those hips to the floor. We're going to screw those hands into the floor. We're going to look to pull those shoulder blades back, getting a nice tall position through our upper body, pushing those hip flexors to the floor, squeezing those glutes, getting that stretch through our back, holding this position for the second 45 seconds. Getting nice deep breaths, focusing on stretching, focusing on rest, relaxation and recovery in tonight's class. So nice and tall with the upper body. You can even get a little bit of extension through your head if you want by looking up to the ceiling. So I should have said, Frankie, that downward dog should have been getting you that stretch through the calves you're looking for after that running you've been doing recently. From this upward dog position, we're going to get into a wide split stance with our left foot facing forward. We're going to support ourselves on our right hand, and then we're going to pop our left hand on top of our left foot, and we're going to look to push that knee forward, getting that stretch through our hamstrings, through our adductors, working that knee at about a 45-degree angle. So try and keep that spine neutral if you can. We just push that knee forward, find where it feels sore in those hamstrings when you're in that deep hip and knee flexion. Trying to keep that foot nice and stable on the floor, so we've got like 3 points of support at the bottom of our big toe, our little toe and our heel. Again, just working that knee, finding where it feels sore. So this elbow instep hamstring stretch is one of our five key stretches for hip mobility. So be sure to check that video out on the website and also on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. So staying in this wide split stance position, we're now going to switch our focus to this back leg, so to this right leg. Initially, we're going to look at the hip flexor on this right leg. So in this nice wide split stance position, we're going to look to squeeze that back glute, still keep that straight line from our back knee up to our shoulder. So we don't want to be hyperextended there. Equally, we don't want to be hunched over, but we should now be feeling a nice pull through the front of that right hip, making sure we're squeezing that right glute. And we can just play around with the angle of that back foot just to hit different muscle fibers and make sure we're getting the most out of this stretch. So squeezing that glute, keeping ourselves nice and tall. Feeling that stretch through that right hip. Another few seconds. From there, still staying in this split stance position, we're now going to use our left hand to grab behind us and reach our right foot. Pull that foot up towards your bum, so we're getting into some deeper knee flexion, so we're making this stretch a little bit more quad focused. So staying in this split stance position, still squeezing that glute, we're now looking to pull that heel to our bum. If you're finding that stretch too intense, you can obviously just let that heel hang back a little bit. If you're finding it okay, you can then bring that right hand round as well to really give a nice big pull on that heel all the way up to your bum, getting that big stretch through your right quad. As always, even though we might be challenging the stability in these positions, we want to try and keep Some nice deep breaths, nice and relaxed. And find ourselves in like a nice and comfortable 5 to 7 out of 10 level of discomfort. A few more seconds on that right quad. From there, letting that foot drop back to the floor, we're going to spin ourselves around, so we've now got our right foot forward, our left foot back. This time we're looking at that right hamstring, so we're going to pop our right hand on top of our right foot and our left hand is just going to support us out to the side. And from there we're just using that elbow, working into that inner knee just to push that knee out to the side at about a 45-degree angle, getting that nice deep stretch through our hamstrings, finding where you feel this stretch most effective. Again, trying to keep that heel fixed on the floor. We don't want to be coming up onto our toes. Keep our foot nice and stable, keep our heel fixed, and just push that knee out to the side. Another 10 seconds on this right hamstring stretch. Working a little bit deeper into it if you can. Staying in this split stance position with our right foot forward, we turn the focus now to our left hip flexor. So we're going to be squeezing that left glute, getting that reciprocal inhibition and opening that that left hip flexor up, Squeeze the left glute, let the left hip open up, lean forward into it, keeping that straight line from your left knee now up to your shoulder. Make sure you're moving that sort of back foot angle around just so you're hitting it from different angles. If we bring that right foot forward more, we just need to make sure we're still leaning forward into that stretch just so we don't end up compressing our lower back by hyperextending there. Should be feeling a pretty intense stretch through that left hip flexor, especially if you've been sat down all day. Getting those hip flexors in some extension is going to help counteract that bad posture from being in that sat down position for so long. A couple more seconds there. Now we're using that right hand to reach around and grab that left foot and pull that left foot up towards our bum, making this a little bit more quad focused now. We can then bring our left hand back, to grab our foot if we're okay with that position. If we want to intensify the stretch, we just want to pull that heel closer towards our bum. If it's a bit too challenging at the minute, we've been in a bit too much discomfort, we just want to let that foot drop away from our bum, open that angle up at the back of your knee. Squeezing that glute, pulling that heel to your bum, getting that stretch through your quad. Another 20 seconds there. Letting go of that foot, we're now going to get ourselves into a seated position. We're going to get into a seated adductor stretch. So we want the soles of our feet to be touching and we want to be pulling those heels as close as we can to our bum. From there, we're going to grab hold of those feet and use those elbows to work into those knees. We can rock side to side a little bit if we want. We're just looking to get those knees out and down to the floor and get those heels nice and close to our bum. Trying to keep as nice and tall as we can whilst in this position. Should be feeling a pretty nice stretch through that adductor, so that's that inner thigh area. Sitting in that position and then, like I say, using those elbows just to push those knees further apart, trying to get them as close to the floor as possible. Bringing ourselves round now into a sort of that child's pose, that sort of yoga pose. So we're going with a wide knee position with the soles of our feet touching again. So we're getting a bit of adductor stretch once again. From there, we're going to reach those hands forward and sit those hips back and just look to sit nice and deep into that position. Taking some deep breaths as we do so. So nice and relaxed. Every time we exhale, we just want to be thinking about sinking that chest a little bit closer to the floor. chilling out as we're doing this full body stretching routine, taking those deep breaths. Think about sort of 3 seconds inhale, 6 seconds exhale per breath, just to make sure you're breathing nice and deep, nice and relaxed. A couple more seconds in that position. From there, we're going to come onto our knees. We're going to sit ourselves back, reach our left hand out at about a 45-degree angle, and then have our right hand just in line with our right shoulder. And then we're looking to get a nice deep stretch through that left pec into that left bicep by pushing that left shoulder down to the floor. And then we can just twist that head away into the right hand side just to deepen that stretch. So again, if you've been sat down all day, hunched over desks, hunched over PlayStations and the like, you'll be making sure you're getting some stretching through those anterior upper body muscles that are going to become shortened. So sitting in that position for extended periods of time. So we can play around with the hand position here just to find out where you feel that stretch best. We've all got different origins and insertions on our muscles, so not everyone's going to feel the same stretch in the same way. So we just need to manipulate it slightly to make sure we're making it most effective for ourselves. We're now going to reach out with that right arm, have that left hand supporting, and then just twist that head to the left hand side. Getting that stretch through that right pec into right bicep this time. Pushing that right shoulder down to the floor. A few more seconds in that position. Getting that stretch through that pec. From there, bringing those hands out in front. We're going to now really target that T-spine, target those lats by sinking that chest to the floor, trying to keep those hips fairly high as we do so. Keep that back fairly neutral and just push that chest through to the floor. Staying in the same position with our lower body, we're now going to walk our hands across the right hand side. So we're going to really focus on that left hand side lat. So we should be feeling a nice stretch down that muscle there as we sort of push our chest to the floor, leaning into that left shoulder. Every time we exhale, just sinking a little bit deeper into that stretch. So a big stretch on the outside of that left hand side into that left lat. Now we'll look to walk those hands across the left hand side, this time looking at that right lat. So mirror image of what we just did. It's going to be that right lat, the outside there, that's going to be hopefully getting that stretch as we sink down into that right shoulder. Every time we exhale, just pushing that chest a little bit closer to the floor. These stretches should be fairly easy positions for us to hold, so we can really focus on that deep breathing, getting ourselves in that nice relaxed state. Continuing working up the body, we're now going to look at a stretch for your chest again and your shoulders. So we're going to sit ourselves, our bum is on our heels. We're going to clasp those hands behind us with a nice straight arm, and then we're just going to look to pull those hands back, pull those shoulder blades down and back, so we're getting a nice stretch through the chest into the shoulder on this front side. As always, we want to be keeping that lower back nice and stable. We don't want to be massively extending through the lower back, so we want to keep our spine nice and straight and just get that extension through our upper back through pulling those shoulder blades together. They're staying in this seated position. We're now going to finish off by looking at the neck. So first of all, we're going to stretch that left hand side. So we're going to reach our right hand across. We're going to extend our left arm out to the side, and we're just going to gently pull that head to the right hand side, feeling that stretch all the way down that left hand side of your neck into your upper trap, and just chilling out as we do so. Another 10 seconds on this left hand side. And then for this final 45-second period of this stretch routine, we're going to reach over with that left hand side, gently pull the head to the left, and then just get that stretch through the right hand side of the neck. So reach that right arm out as well while you're doing it. And just feel that stretch. A few more seconds in this position. And that is the end of the full body stretch routine. We're going to have a minute or two rest. In that minute or two rest period, just grab yourself a pair of trainers or shoes that you're not wearing, as we're just going to use those for some belly breathing for the last 3 minutes. So grab yourself a quick drink, grab yourself a pair of trainers, and we'll be back in a minute or two. Right then guys, we hope you enjoyed that full body stretch routine. For those of you who tuned in last Thursday or followed along last Thursday, or have subsequently checked out the video on YouTube, you'll know we finished off that class with some belly breathing. So as I said at the start of the class tonight, the goal was to promote recovery, to promote relaxation, and belly breathing is a little bit of a novel but great way to do that. So for the drill we're going to do for 3 minutes, we just need a empty pair of shoes. So this is basically going to enforce some relaxation, get that parasympathetic nervous system switched on, and chill us out before going to bed tonight. So in terms of doing the drill, we're looking to lie down flat on our backs, and we're going to grab these two trainers, and we're going to pop one on top of our chest, and we're going to pop one on top of our belly button. From there, lying flat back down, the goal is now to take some deep breaths whilst only moving that lower trainer. So we should ideally be able to suck in, expand that belly, take the breath in, and then exhale, only moving that lower trainer. What we don't want to see is short, sharp breaths through the chest, lifting that top trainer up. So we're going to finish with 3 minutes of belly breathing just to relax us. I'll pop the timer on, so we've got a 10-second countdown, and then we've got 3 minutes of this to finish off. So grabbing those trainers, getting them into position, popping those arms down by your side, laying down, and just taking some deep breaths. So we want to think about taking that deep breath in through our nose for about 3 seconds, and then exhaling through our mouth through some pursed lips for about 6 seconds. If you've got someone who's watching you do the class or doing the class with you, have a little look over, get them to critique your form. Are you able to take these deep breaths without that top trainer moving up? Are you able to just minimise that movement to that lower trainer? So just over a minute into it now, should be feeling nice and relaxed, should hopefully be getting some better quality breaths than what we were doing at the start. "45 seconds left, so if we're taking that 3-second inhalation, 6-second exhalation, we've got time for about 4 more breaths. Make sure they're good quality, make sure it's only that bottom trainer that's moving, and that trainer that's resting on our chest is staying nice and still. Got 15 more seconds, keep focusing on those breaths, taking that deep breath in, keep through the mouth, through the nose, exhaling through the mouth for about 6 seconds. There we go, guys, 3 minutes of belly breathing. You should be feeling nice and relaxed. You should be feeling relaxed and better than you did at the start of the class after that full body stretch routine. As always, let us know in the comments if you enjoyed it, what you thought of it, anything you want me to include in my next class, which will be Saturday morning at 11 AM. Sam will be back tomorrow at 1 PM for a Friday lunchtime functional fitness class. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you guys soon.